walking through the course with 2 carts, both of them full of discs. Like, what? Anyone who sees me is just like, no. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. This isn't going to be a course review. It's not going to be a mad scientist disc golf experiment. This one's going to be a little more informative, and I'm going to give you guys some honest reviews of these kind of next generation of disc golf travel. We have 2 carts here. We have your kind of classic compact Zuka cart, and right here we have a brand new Bag Boy XL cart, the same one that you see Jeremy Colling using all of the time. Now, when it comes to choosing either one of these, you guys are gonna wanna hear all of these pros and cons because they both are a commitment. They are both over $200. In fact, these are very similar in price, right around that $230 mark. But one thing that I do wanna bring up, this Zuka cart is about 2 or 3 years old. It is a Ledgestone edition one, but I haven't used it that long. I did get it brand new, but I've used it solid for about 1.5 years outside of when I'm van lifing. I do not take this thing with me when I hit the road. And the Bag Boy XL was just sent to me recently by Bag Boy. Now, I haven't had it nearly as long, so I can't go over the long-term effects that I have witnessed on the Zuka cart, but don't get it twisted. I have put this thing through the ringer to give you guys the best review that I can. I've done glow tournaments, blindly rocking this thing through local courses. I have put it to quite a few tests, so I'm really excited to make this video, go over both of these carts for you so it helps when you make your next decision to upgrade your game. Now, the first thing that I want to touch on is what do you get for your money bare bones? Now, obviously, this is the Bag Boy. This is what is going to get delivered to your house. Now, they do have some pretty awesome upgrades, like everything, but from bare bones, you don't really need those upgrades. And I think this is an important feature to touch on because the Zuka bare bones, like I said, when I first got it, I didn't use it. In my opinion, to really enjoy and get use out of your Zuka cart, you need a putter pouch. Obviously, when you pick up your Zuka cart, you're not gonna have this cool little clip or this handle, none of this blue stuff on here. That's all from Keegan at BuilderBot3D. But most importantly, you're not gonna get a putter pouch. And when I had this thing bare bones, like I mentioned, I never used it. It was very frustrating trying to figure out where to put your putters or anything else that you got, because with Zuka, which I currently don't know where they are, but you do get 2 nice little zipper bags that fit in this upper compartment. But if you ever needed anything, I took those out immediately. It was kind of annoying, in my opinion, to take out a bag, unzip it, you know, have what you need, set it down, use it, zip it back up, and put it back in place. But with that being said, once I got this putter pouch on here, I absolutely love this thing, and I would use it all of the time, but it did bother me. I actually got this for free. Someone in one of my local groups posted it, free pickup, so I went and got it because I was flustered with the idea of buying a new product, and for it to really be utilized to its full potential, I needed to buy something else. And if you've ever seen somebody using a Zuka cart, they have a putter pouch. Another thing that has really been a love-hate relationship is the cup holder situation. Now, obviously, on the Bag Boy, you will have your bag with those bigger cup holders, but you have this center one. Now, you're not gonna fit, you know, a big water bottle inside of this thing. If you have kind of a tapered mug, it's definitely gonna fit in there. It'll swing, it will stay upright for the most part, but those bigger, you know, a hydro flask, those bigger thermos-type water bottles, they will not fit in here, but they will fit in the Zuka cup holder because they are adjustable. But let me tell you something, these cup holders, in my opinion, are the worst design cup holders I have ever seen. Now, here's my classic tossing plastic water bottle. Now, I take this thing everywhere I go, but if you look close to it, you realize this thing is absolutely wrecked. It's shredded, it's black, the paint's all peeled off of it, and that's all because of these cup holders. They decided to go with like an aluminum, and they're not very sturdy, so it just scratches every single cup, mug, whatever you put in there, it is gonna scratch it, it is going to tear it up. I've had to bend the cup holders in because even at their tightest, when you tighten them all the way, they are still not that firm. I have had heavier drinks fall out of it, but like I said, this will be the only water bottle that I put in there because I don't want any more to get wrecked. But on the flip side, it doesn't even fit in the Bag Boy. Now, the other thing about the Zuka that is definitely my favorite aspect is the seat. Now, I know a lot of hardcore disc golfers say you don't need a seat, but let me tell you something. When you get that text from your buddy who would be an AM5 if it was an option, and he asks if you want to go play around, and then later he throws in, he's bringing a buddy that's never played before, let me tell you what, this thing is your best friend, because most of your round is going to be sitting down and yelling, "Have you found it yet?" Now, when it comes to the bag boy, obviously there is no seat, but like I mentioned with those add-ons, they do offer one. I wish I had one to showcase to you guys, but I don't. So I'm not entirely sure how it works. I believe it just mounts onto the frame. It might be on a bit of a swivel and you can take a seat, but it is $99. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, when I'm talking about just cons and cons in general, I will have more for the Zuka cart, but like I said, these are long-term problems that I've ran into, and guys, they are not uncommon. I've had some of them sorted out and help from my local store, but there are other people that have ran into these issues quite a bit. Now, I don't know if Zuka has fixed these, but honestly, this cart is not that old, so I do think that they are still relevant. Obviously, the bag boy is much wider. You can't take this thing and navigate up some super steep hill. You can, but it is going to be very difficult. The reason I love this compact Zuka cart so much is it has this handle, and even when it's fully loaded, it's not that heavy. Now, the bag boy cart itself is extremely light. It's only about 14 pounds in total, but there's not an easy way to exactly pick it up and carry it uphill. Now, it does break down very small, and I will showcase that for you guys, but you wouldn't necessarily be breaking this thing down and then carrying it up a hill. You know what I mean? You could, you definitely have the option, but this thing packs up nice, quick, easy, compact, stays on its wheels for rolling. Like I mentioned, being able to have this handle, pick this thing up and carry it is a huge bonus, but some of the major things that I've run into with the Zuka cart, the first one is these wheel nuts. If you have a Zuka cart, you know these wheel nuts love to fall off. I got aftermarket ones to eliminate that problem. Like I've mentioned, the cup holders will destroy anything that you put in them. And then there is a little slide locking nut that goes right in here. I've had that fall out. Luckily, my local shop replaced it for me. And I've also had the button that you adjust the height of your handle fall out. I had to take a bolt and literally drill through this thing, put a solid bolt all the way through so it would no longer move anymore. And lastly, we have these side pouches. And like I mentioned, these are all other things that I've talked to Zuka owners and see, but the side pockets get stretched. Even if you don't overfill them and pack them in, as you move from side to side, you have a couple discs in there. Every time that's swinging, it's stretching that elastic more and more. So now when you go to put discs in it, naturally, they kind of just want to lean. They'll hit your tire and you'll hear it rubbing on it throughout your entire round. Lastly, we have storage in the vehicle. Now with the Zuka cart, you can, unscrew this handle, slide it in your trunk, just as you could this. This does have 4 tires though. So you do, if you have a mat, to protect your car from debris, like in Greta, in my van, I have a tote lid and I just set the cart on the tote lid. Now, obviously that's not big enough for the bag boy cart. So those are just little nuances. They're not a big deal. They'll be simple to figure out, but for storage size, this does pack down a little shorter. It does get more compact, but it is more surface area for those wheels to get dirt, maybe in places you don't want it to. Straight from bag boy, here are the compartments you're gonna get. On the back, you have this big, just kind of wide open bag. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this because it gets very disorganized, but for your bigger things, it is pretty nice. I always like to keep a little broom in my bag with me at all times. I have my chalk bag in there. Any bigger loose things, you can just plop right in there. And as you can see, we have this phone holder, which is very nice. I enjoy it because you never have to take your phone in and out. It just sits right there. You can work it. It does have this strap. It's not going anywhere, I promise you. I know there are a lot of nice aftermarket phone holders for bags, but this is just how it comes when you order it. And then over here, we have the awesome e-brake. If you are on any kind of incline or decline, you are going to want to use this thing and it works well. And then on the other side, we do have an umbrella holder. Now, I don't think I'll ever use that, but it did work great to hold a glow light. I will tell you that. And then lastly, on top, we do have this little compartment here, and it does pop right up. You can store, it's not super deep. It does hold a rangefinder pretty good. It has this little clip on here to hold a pencil, but at the end of the day, it is rather nice. And if you put, you know, a tapered drink in here, it will hit. That is one thing I thought was interesting. It will hit, you know, your drink, but you can still get in there just fine. Now I think it's time that we go take these things for a little spin. And one thing that I do want to mention, a lot of the issues with the Bag Boy XL cart do get resolved the second that you put your bag on it. All of those storage issues, like I've mentioned, I always thought the bag was just the best overall. You have two big cup holders, you have these long vertical pouches that hold your extra water bottles, you know what I mean? And then you have your putter pouch, everything you could need. I think the bag does great, which is why so far I have been a huge fan of the Bag Boy XL cart. Now, don't pass any judgment on Old Gray here. Old Gray has played 1,000+ rounds and it holds up pretty good, but the cart does make it look a little worse. Brand new and shiny. Pretty much every pocket in this thing is blown out. None of the zippers work. Nothing really works, but it gets the job done. One funny thing that I do want to mention, if you want to talk about feeling like the biggest tool in the world, you know, there's always jokes about people who carry so many discs. While trying to make this video, I'm walking through the course with 2 carts, both of them full of discs. Like, what? Anyone who sees me is just like, no, this has got to be a joke, but I'm playing the part. You know, I'm acting, when I'm walking, I'm dead serious, so people know I'm not messing around up in here. Now, one major downfall of the Zuca cart that we've all experienced or you've seen somebody experience is it struggles on rough terrain. Now, this is a walking path at my local course from hole 17 to hole 18, and there is a ton of roots. And usually when you're just talking with your buddies or talking to yourself, like me usually, you're not paying attention to the ground, and the Zuca cart can be a menace when there's a ton of roots. It likes to jam up all the time, and then every once in a while, if there's one high enough, I've experienced this a bunch of times myself, but you catch a tall one, you get that dreaded cart tip, and then you're trying, you can usually save it, flop it back up, but still, this thing will jam all the time when you're walking, and you'll catch yourself, and then all of a sudden you're stabbing yourself in the stomach with the handle, and all of that gets eliminated with the Bag Boy because it does have 4 wheels, so it has all of the stabilization that you need. I can literally just take this thing and push it over all the roots. I don't even need to be behind it. It's not gonna tip over. And even this taller one that I was getting jammed up, it's about 3 inches out of the ground. I can go over it with ease, with both tires. Just having those 4 wheels, the stabilization, it's a non-factor. Moving forward, guys, after everything I've talked about and using both of the products, I will move forward with the Bag Boy, and honestly, it's not even close. Now, keep in mind, these prices are very similar. One utilizes a current bag, one you don't need it. But also, I'm pretty sure this is the cheaper Zuca cart. I mean, you can get the bare bones cart that you can set your bag in, obviously, but another kind of underrated thing and why I like this so much, with the bag sitting high, you don't have to bend over all the time to grab a disc in and out. And like, it's one of those things you don't think about, but when you don't have to do it anymore, it is really nice. To be completely transparent, my choice for using the Bag Boy is not because they are paying me. They have sent it to me for free, and I will have an affiliate link. So if any of you guys do want to check them out, you can use my code. I will get a little kickback. I'll greatly appreciate it, but by no means am I pushing a product on you. I just know that since I've started using this, I enjoy it a lot more than my Zuca cart. As mentioned, I cannot speak for all of the other models of Zuca carts or if any of these issues that I've run into have been resolved with the newer models. I don't know the answer to those questions because I don't have one. But when it comes to navigating uphill, this thing is easier too because you can get both hands behind it. It is wider. It's a lot easier to push than the one-handled Zuca cart. But honestly, the biggest downfall and the biggest sell of the Zuca cart is the seat, and I can pick it up. I can navigate literally any course with this Zuca cart. This one, not so much, but if that's the case or if that happens, I just pop my bag off and get rolling. Normally, if they're super challenging, I'm gonna go with my bag anyway. I have to transfer all the discs back and forth. This thing is just ready to go. If I can use the cart, cool, I pull it out. If I don't, I just don't. There's no transferring. Two other things I forgot to mention about the Zuka cart. If you have your putter pouch kind of loaded up and sitting higher and you take some disc out of the bottom, your bag will tip. Now for me, this actually happened quite a bit and I wasn't overusing my pouch. I had 2 discs, a chalk bag, a rangefinder, and my phone. And I actually had a phone break because of that. I had a friend grabbed a couple discs out of my bag, that weight toppled it over, it hit the corner of a T-pad, and that phone literally broke just from this thing tipping over. And also an interesting thing that I experienced down south, because every insect down there can take you out at any moment, the fact that this front plate of the Zuka cart sits on the ground, I would physically see ticks would crawl up off the ground, and because this is a direct path, they'd crawl right up here and they'd get on my bag. Now the wheels, ticks aren't super fast, so the wheels, when I'd observe it, it didn't really happen. They'd get caught up in the spokes, or when I started moving again, they'd get ran over or fall off. That is just like, that is a very in-depth but very real thing that I noticed when I was in North Carolina. Hope you guys didn't mind a little bit of a switch up on the video. Obviously, entertainment is my #1 priority, but an honest review of, you know, a big purchase, I value a lot. I'm cheap. I like to get my dollars worth when I invest it in something. So hopefully this video can help you guys on your next purchase. Like I mentioned, I do have an affiliate link. So if any of you guys were intrigued by the Bag Boy, make sure you go check that out. And also, I forgot to mention, guys, one of their add-ons is a cooler. I don't know if it locks on there, but the cooler will sit right down in this compartment. I wish I could showcase it to you guys because I would love it. If there was a cooler that mounted on this, it would be an absolute game changer, but it is another one of those add-ons. But again, check that affiliate link in the description if it did catch your eye. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now it's your turn to go toss some plastic.